Hi folks, well I'm back with another finds video. This weekend saw my first record fair since April. Seems ages. This one was at Carlisle, and it was the very first record fair where I came away with more money in my pocket than I started with. I ended up taking about 40 albums to the fair to sell, and I sold them to Kevin, my favourite vendor there, and the money I got for them paid for the stuff I bought from him and the albums I bought from two other vendors. Plus, at the end of it, I had £20 more in my pocket. Can't be bad. Anyway, let's see what I picked up. I haven't had a chance to clean these and listen to them yet, so we'll see. Hopefully they're all going to be fine. First up, I'll show the cheap ones. There was a guy there that was selling 6 for £20, which isn't a bad deal. The covers are showing a bit of wear, to be fair, but hopefully once I've cleaned the vinyl up, they'll play fine. And the first one I picked up was this double live album by Steve Harley and Cockney Rebel called Face to Face. Hope there's not too much glare there. And this was released in 1977, pretty much at the end of their life as a band. It features some of their biggest hits like Here Comes the Sun, Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me, Mr. Soft. It's Sebastian, Psychomodo, Love's a Prima Donna. It gets sort of mixed reviews from what I can tell, but hopefully it's going to be a decent listen. Next up, we have my very first Nick Lowe album as a solo artist. And this was his debut album from 1978, Jesus of Cool. I've got stuff with the Brinsleys and Rockpile, but I've never had anything of his solo work. The only song I recognise on here is I Love the Sound of Breaking Glass. Great cover with him in different musical poses. And this is obviously going to be sort of pure power pop. I think it's going to be really enjoyable. The next one I was really pleased to find, and this is Daryl Way's Wolf with their third album, Night Music. Now the cover's not in great condition. I don't know if you can see, it's got ripples in it. I think it might have got water damaged at some time, I don't know. But hopefully the vinyl's going to be okay. I really like Wolf. They're sort of in that proggy jazz fusion vein. This, as I said, is their third and probably least essential of the albums that they did. I think it's a bit of a more commercial side of them, where they added a full-time vocalist to the band. I've got the second album, Saturation Point. It's only the first album I'm really now looking for. Though, given the state of this cover, if the vinyl's not good, I'll probably still be looking out for another copy of this to upgrade. Anyway, on here you've got obviously Daryl Way, X-Curved Air on violin and keyboards, John Etheridge on guitar, now soft machine, Dec Messica on bass guitar, who went on to play with Caravan, Ian Mosley on drums, who played in the Dutch band Trace, and then went on to play with Marillion. And the vocalist they've introduced is John Hodkinson, who was with the jazz rock band If. So yeah, pleased to find this one. Don't often see their stuff out in the wild. Next, continuing in that sort of proggy vein, we have Kansas with their third album from 1975, Mask. I was never particularly a big fan originally of Kansas and that style of band, like Styx. Very much that pump rock, American style pump rock that I wasn't overly keen on. But I bought many years ago one of those little 5 CD sets of studio albums of Kansas, and giving that a listen, I discovered they were far better than I'd given them credit for. This one was included in that 5 CD sets, but I can't remember much of, to be honest, of it. I think this is mixes that sort of hard rock with progressive rock with a more pop orientated style as well. But I'm hoping it's going to be enjoyable enough. You know, for the price, it's worth trying. We now have Mr. Martin Simpson with his 1983 album, Grinning in Your Face. Martin's a singer-songwriter, excellent guitarist in the folk scene. Came a bit later than most of the others, like the Carthys and the Yanshas. First saw him live in probably about 76, 77. He was support act for Steel Eye Span. To be honest, at the time I wasn't that impressed with him. But what I've heard since I've liked. Not so long back picked up his first album. As I said, this is I think his third from 1983. On he does a mixture of stuff from traditional to tracks like The First Cut Is the Deepest, Dylan's Masters of War, Your Cheating Heart, Gabriel's Biko, sorry. So yeah, I am hoping this is going to be a really good album. Finally, from the 6 for 20, we have the Electric Light Orchestra with their third album, On the Third Day, from 1973. By this point, Roy Wood had gone, and ELO were starting to take on that familiar sound, less experimental, to say, than the first couple of albums. But I've always been a big fan of the early ELO, sort of up to Out of the Blue. Beyond that, no thank you. This includes 2 of their big hits, Mama Bell, and because this is a US pressing, we also get Showdown on here, which I don't think was on the original UK copies at any release. I think this now completes the albums that I want from the band. So, nice to pick it up. So, from another seller, I managed to pick up 2 live albums by the same artist. And that's Bob Marley and the Wailers. The first is Babylon by Bus, the double album from I think 1978. At least it was recorded on the Kaya tour for 1978. I loved the live album that they put out earlier. But Babylon by Bus I've never had a copy of in any form, so I'm really looking forward to giving this a spin. It's got tracks like Positive Vibration, Exodus, Stir It Up, Concrete Jungle, Lively Up Yourself, War, Is This Love, Jamming. So excellent stuff. And the same guy also had this album, Bob Marley and the Wailers live at the Record Plant 73, showcasing an earlier version of the band when Peter Tosh was still a member of the Wailers. Though, even though he's shown here, Bunny Wailer, I think, had left by this point. Peter Tosh was to leave the year after. And this includes tracks like Rastaman Chant, Stop That Train, Burning and Looting, Kinky Reggae, Get Up, Stand Up, Lively Up Yourself. So I'm really looking forward to giving this a spin. I've not heard don't think I've heard any live material from this era of the band. I'm just hoping that as it's a radio recording, that it's actually decent sound quality. But it cost me a tenner, as did Babylon by Bus. So, hopefully it's going to be decent. We now move on to the, 6 albums I bought from Kevin? And we start with Ainsley Dunbar's Blue Whale. Ainsley Dunbar being a superb drummer who's played with just about everyone, from John Mayall to Frank Zappa to Jefferson Starship, Whitesnake, UFO, Bowie, Niels Lofgren, you name it, he's played with them. Jeff Beck was one guy he played with. He was in the Jeff Beck group. And upon leaving them, he formed the band Ainsley Dunbar's Retribution. No, sorry, I keep on saying Retribution. Retaliation, who did 3 albums. I've got one of those, and it's excellent jazz rock album. Upon the dissolution of that band, he formed Blue Whale, a 8-piece band, playing a sort of still, as I understand it, jazz rock, but probably with a more of a progressive rock edge to it. So if this is as good as the Retaliation albums, I think this is going to be excellent. It's funny. It seems that when he formed this band, he tried to recruit Robert Fripp from King Crimson to be his guitarist in the band. But at the same time, Fripp tried to get him to join King Crimson as a drummer. Neither was obviously to come about. After this band, Dunbar went on to play with Zappa. This is on the BYG label, originally released in 1971, and this is a 2023 reissue. Next up, there's one that I think I might be taking a little bit of a chance with, even though the musicians are excellent. And this is Mark Sharig's album, Pipe Dream, with Keith Tippett and Ann Winter. Sorry for the glare. Mark Sharig, obviously, who played with Soft Machine, among others. On here, Mark plays cornet and tenor horn. Keith Tippett plays organ, zither, piano, voice and bell. And Ann Winter is on voice and bell. I don't know Ann Winter, I don't think. This was recorded On the 14th and 15th of January 1977 at St Stephen's Church, Southmead, Bristol. And I think he's all improvised music. I presume the organ that Keith plays is church organ. So I'm not sure what to expect of this. If it's all free jazz, it could be a bit too far from me, but hopefully it isn't. But for the price, it was worth taking a chance on. This was released in 1977 on the Ogun label. I think it's the Ogun label, which was quite a well-known and respected jazz label in the 70s. So yeah, nice to find, not something you see every day. Hopefully I'm going to enjoy it. The next four I got from Kevin were all shrink wrapped still. They're all brand new. First up we have Bert Jansch with his 1977 album A Rare Conundrum. Obviously Bert, one of the premier guitarists of the British folk scene in the 60s and 70s. This is an album featuring people like Rod Clements of Lindisfarne on bass, Pick Withers, who played with Dire Straits, didn't he, on drums. You also have Mike Piggott on violin, who would go on to join a later version of Pentangle. And Ralph McTell plays harmonica on one track as well. This is all Jansch originals, and with this album you also get a CD with 3 bonus tracks. As I said, this was originally released in 1977. This is a 2018 reissue on Earth Records, and you can't go wrong with a Bert Jansch album. Next up we have Konrad Schnitzler, he of the original Tangerine Dream and Cluster with a K, with his 1987 album Conditions of the Gas Giant, which was originally released in 87 solely on cassette. And this is a Bureau B vinyl reissue from 2019. And not sure what to expect really with this one. Konrad's music can be quite avant-garde, a lot of it, particularly the early Cluster albums. But this is described as sounding like the sonic representation of a Jovian atmosphere, a swirling vortex of analog, proto-techno and ambient minimalism that evokes early electronic pioneers meeting avant-garde sequencing. So, yeah, sounds like it's going to be an adventurous listen. So that's Konrad Schnitzler. And now a bit of jazz fusion, and we have Brand X with their album Live at the Roxy LA from 23rd of September 1979. And this is the lineup that features Phil Collins on drums and vocals, Robin Lumley on keyboards, John Goodsell on guitar, Percy Jones on bass, and Peter Robinson on keyboards. Excellent lineup. Again, this should be excellent. It's a double album. The only worry again is that it's on a label I've never heard of, which Blue Day label, which I think issues a lot of sort of live and radio stuff. So I'm hoping this is going to be of decent sound quality. I'm sure the performance will be brilliant, but it's all down to the sound quality as how listenable it'll be. But fingers crossed. And finally, we have Gong with the 25th birthday party in London, at the Forum in London, which was held on October the 8th and 9th in 1994. And the concert, or the two concerts, featured like every past and present member of Gong at the time, bands like Here and Now, Kevin Ayers, and a host of others, Kangaroo Moon. Loads of bands played over the course of the 2 days. Kevin, who sold me this, attended those concerts and said they were brilliant. This originally came out in, when was it? I think it came out in 95 as a 2 CD set. And this reissue by Floating World is from 2024. It's a shame that it's only a single album. I know the original 2 CD set would have taken up a lot more space, but it's a shame they couldn't have made this at least a double. But it's Gong, and I know it's going to be good. So that's it. That's what I managed to pick up at Carlisle this last weekend. And after it having been so long since the last record fair, we've got another one next week. It's the Kendal Record Fair on Saturday. So hopefully I'll have a few more goodies to show you then. Anyway, everybody, take care. All the best. Bye.